and gentlemen, we have returning for the third time. So I guess she's officially family. Miss Rhonda Mary. What's going on?
Yes. Hey, y'all. You can almost call me a regular now. I don't know. What do I get
Exactly,
called after
exactly.
3 times?
Your family. That's what it is now. But so before we get into the topic, I gotta put the spotlight on you for a minute because the first time you were on, which I think was like over a year ago, you
It
had just
wasn't even
started.
a year. It feels
Really?
like a year, but believe it or not, I don't think it was that long ago. Was it?
It was like right when you started doing your YouTube channel.
Okay. So that's been, yeah, a little. I started in 2017. So, yeah,
Yeah, crazy, right?
I know
You had
time.
just started off. I remember because when you started, I think first time I invited you on, you had like maybe 100 or 200 subscribers. Now you
Really?
had like what? Yeah, because we talked about. I actually listened to it today before we recorded today because I wanted to just see how far it's come since the first time. But yeah, you had. I think on there you mentioned you had like just cracked 200 or something like that.
Get the heck out of here. That's crazy. I got a little bit over 8,000 now, so we pushing. It's crazy. It's exciting and stuff, but yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Happy for you. I know how much work you put into it. How
Oh
much
my
work you gotta put into it. Like to do
goodness.
a one video and a live show every week like that. That ain't no joke, man.
All right. And sometimes more, just depending on, if I see a topic I really want to do and stuff like that. So yeah, it does get tough sometimes.
It's crazy. What's who's who? How many? Do you have like a lot of people that reach out to you now? Like, have you had like any big people reach out to you?
Yes, like I in my network and direct access, I have some YouTubers who are like big YouTubers who have 50 to 100,000 subscribers. I've had people email me that have directly worked like with the White House, that have worked on prison reform, that have worked on urban revitalization. So it's so dope. I have like, I got in contact with a lady that's she was on the Breakfast Club and speaks on Fox News and things like that. So it's really exciting. Like
That's what's up. I'm really really happy for you. Who's your dream interview right now? Who name it?
my dream interview for
Yeah,
me to interview.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't know. I would have to think about that a little bit.
That's what's up. All right, I can understand that.
Caught me
Well,
on
man,
the spot.
we are here to discuss something that's just completely blown up the Jussie Smollett situation. So, we're gonna start from the beginning. So when it first came out that he was attacked, the whole them saying that he got a noose tied around his head, and I believe he said it was they screamed at him, "It's MAGA country." What was your initial response to that first bit of news?
My initial response that first week, I believe that it happened because, like I said, I do a live every Tuesday on my YouTube channel, and so this might have been either that week or the following week, but this was very early on. I told everybody straight up, this story is sketchy.
Hmm.
Okay, it sounds a little bit like some BS. I don't doubt that something happened to him, but I certainly doubt it happened the way he said it happened. And why I was able to come to that why I was able to rationalize it this way is because a lot of what I do with my YouTube channel is basically following fake news, following up on news stories, looking deeper into stories. And so the more I began to do that, the more I can just call out BS quickly.
Hmm.
Okay. So I actually got a Facebook message from my cousin today, and she was like, "Girl," she was like, "I owe you an apology that you didn't even know that you needed." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "I was so mad at you over this Justice Smollett thing, but he just had me full." I'm like, I know. I tried to tell you.
Yeah, and the thing too is like when he did that interview, I can't remember what news channel he was on when he did the interview, and he started crying and tearing up and saying he fought the fuck back. It was like
Well,
it was hard.
Roberts.
Yeah. It was hard not to get emotionally attached to that because he seemed so passionate and the pain seemed real. And now looking back at it, I'm just like, he's an actor. Like now, I don't think I could ever believe an actor again
Did
because he's
that
just.
seem real to you, really?
And see, the thing is, it's like maybe it's because I like Jussie. Like I thought I did. Like I really did. Loved his music for the most part, but I did. And the thing is, I didn't want to believe anyone would use something like that as a flat out lie. Now looking back at it, because I watched that interview again today too. It's like looking at it, it's like it just doesn't seem believable now. Like.
But this is the thing, what a lot of people don't realize, and this is because the news doesn't report it and they don't follow up on a lot of stories. Hoax and fake hate crimes are not as uncommon as people think.
Mhm.
They happen a lot. And so we just usually don't know it. So to a lot of other people, it seems really surprising. Like, why would people do this? But people do this. The only difference is Jussie is in a public eye. That's the only absolute difference what makes this stand out from other fake and hoax hate crimes. So
Do you think that because you say that and it's absolute true, and especially now because I like get on conspiracy websites and stuff all the time now. Like my friend Billy Ray Valentine, he has a whole conspiracy theory podcast, and he calls it like being in the rabbit hole because he's like once you see your first
man,
conspiracy, like
I'm
you won't
telling
believe
you.
anything anymore.
I'm
So
telling you, it has happened to me and it is still happening and it's so unreal. And I know some people that don't really pay attention, they're probably like, it is something wrong with this girl. She's crazy. That's probably what my cousin thought before this Jussie Smollett thing unraveled. But people were able to see for themselves. And once you start to see these things unravel for yourself, your life will never be the same. It's like
yeah.
the Matrix.
And I think that this, like being so public, is gonna be maybe people's first like foray into that. Like people are like it's so many people now who are gonna be more sketchy about it that really didn't pay attention to fake news. But to get back on the Jussie thing, like
Okay.
the way that it all unraveled. So once the brothers were arrested and released without bail, anything, bond, nothing, not charged, I was like, yeah, they got something because
Crap.
they're not just gonna let it's a wrap because they're not just gonna let anyone go without anything and not know for a fact, okay, yeah, they're telling 100% truth. They had it, and once that happened, I was like, okay, maybe he just lied about parts of it. Little did I know. So this whole thing is completely unraveled now. Now we have the whole picture. So Justice Smollett seems like he sent a fake letter to himself weeks ago, like a months ago, to Fox News threatening himself. Fox News didn't do much about it. He then paid these brothers $3,500 to fake this, all because seemingly he was unhappy with his pay on his TV show. Rhonda, come on, give it to me because I know you got takes.
I am still, honestly, I'm still a little skeptical. I want to eventually, I'm hoping to hear from Jesse's mouth, straight from his mouth, what was the intent, because I still have a hard time just trusting people in general. And even though I knew the story wasn't true, and I believe, like, because I watched the news early today, they broke down the press conference. They literally broke down time, the time plot of everything. And so I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I get that. But why they're telling us he did it, I want it to be more than that. Like I just need it to be more than that so I cannot think he's crazy.
Because that's what it is. If this is the truth, if nothing else comes out, he is batshit ass crazy. But we're gonna get a Lifetime special in like 5 years about this.
Oh, and I'm gonna be one of the first people watching. I'm not even lying. I got so many questions. So many questions.
So what do you like? What do you think the effect of this is gonna be? Because I think something that definitely needs to be talked about in this situation is the fact that it has on the black community, on the gay community. I know you pay attention to conspiracy theory, so there's this whole thing going on that in the conspiracy theory world of a race war that's being built up and playing the races against each other. How do you think this particular story plays into that?
Okay, so you want me to talk about the race war aspect, or you just want me to generally talk about what's gonna happen moving forward?
Let's talk about generally first, and because the
Okay.
race war thing is gonna get
Uh,
deep. So let's start
okay.
off like
Okay. So, generally speaking, I don't think anything is going to happen. I think 2 months from this, we will move on to the next overly publicized story. Okay. Recently, everybody was just on R. Kelly. Before that, I don't even remember what we were on. Probably Chris Brown or something. But every single time, this is what the media does. They perpetuate propaganda, fear mongering. Of course, everybody with social media, we want to be in the know. So we're eager. Anybody making videos about Jussie Smollett, you're gonna get thousands of views. Point blank period. Doesn't even matter. You can have 100 subscribers. You're gonna get the views because people want to know what's going on. So going forward, I honestly think the news media, they're going to double down. People are going to say they are going to learn from this, but they are not. Okay. This is not the first time this has happened. This is just the first time this has happened so publicly, so widespread, with the whole nation's eyes are on this. Not long ago, there was a fake story that came out from BuzzFeed. It was also a huge buzz about that, but it wasn't in the urban media spheres. I would put it like that. So it wasn't as widespread. And black folks, baby, we can keep stuff going.
listen.
We gonna hit you with the memes. Like, we're funny, we make jokes out of everything. So we really keep stuff going. We keep the internet jumping. So that's the difference with this compared to other situations.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that, and just to see the downfall of it, is it's, it's crazy. I'm still wrapping my head around the fact that this happened and turned this fast. But so he was released on $100,000 bond. Ultimately, do you think that he's going to go to jail? Do you think he should go to jail? What's your opinion on that before we get into the other underlying race war? Because Lord knows both the right and the left have been jumping on this. So
What I will say is that you do the crime, you do the time. Like, literally, he has to be held responsible. So I've been seeing online some people say, well, white people have done this. White people have accused black people of doing this. White people have filed false reports. I understand that. But what people need to understand is that more than anything, this was an insult directly to the black community. Let me tell you why. I feel like we can all agree that black people are the most emotionally and mentally manipulated, used, traumatized by the media, by politicians, by the government. Why would you turn around if you care about black people? Why would you turn around and add to the frustrations and the abuse that we already receive? That's not okay just because you're black.
yeah,
So, I mean, hey, I say he needs to be held responsible for that. And people need to see that.
yeah. And the thing, and I, it's funny because I tweeted out today all the people who like kind of still apologizing for him. I said, now imagine if there was a MAGA supporter or Trump supporter who faked an attack by black people and then found out, and how mad you would be. Let's
Right.
keep that same energy. We need to keep we need to be that mad at Jussie Smollett
Right.
because it's black people, gay, like two of the most marginalized demographics. Period, and he set us back. I'm not saying that it's going to completely stop it because there's more issues going on with like the whole uh LBGT community. I actually do you have you heard of the gay trans panic defense?
No.
I'm
I
doing a special
can't
episode
say
on that. Yeah, we'll talk about that off air. I don't want to put you on the spot about that, but
that.
th-
Okay.
it's something. It's stuff like that that I think we need to talk about, and it's gonna all get caught up now in this Jussie Smollett thing, where there's a whole sect of the law that's law in 47 states that basically makes it okay if a gay person approaches, or if I attack a gay person, I say, oh, I did that because I thought they were hitting on me. That's a defense. That's a legal criminal defense. It's a version of insanity. It doesn't make any sense, but yeah, we don't talk about that in our community.
I'm gonna have to look more into that. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to talk about it.
We'll talk about that later. But okay. So the race war. We all know this thing became political almost immediately because there were several people on the right, which I really don't like dividing us like that because I feel like that's already used to divide us
Mhm.
already. But there were already people saying that this was a publicity stunt. Of course, people on the other side fall back even harder. Now that it turned out to be true, it's turning into war. Like this is it's turning into a rallying point for the other side, for both sides. What do you think about that? And let's talk about the race war because this is going to blow some people's mind because I know you know
So let me. I'm trying to see how to say this in the nicest way possible, but I will say this: anybody that would compete, fight, go to war in a race war, they're not very bright people, okay?
it.
No matter what side you are on, you're not very bright. And let me tell you why. Because above all, there is a class war, okay?
It's a fact.
Money is green. Most people are fighting for resources. Me and a white man that live down the street in the same neighborhood, we don't have anything to fight about. Now, I'm not saying by any means racism doesn't exist. We know that it does.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, racism is pushed and promoted to make us fight agendas that aren't even ours, but we take them on as ours. A lot of times, even with this Jussie Smollett case, a lot of times politicians will use us to promote and further advance their agendas when really it's really a power struggle with them. So I will never get out here in these streets and fight for a Democrat. I will never get out here in these streets and fight for a Republican while they sit behind their gated properties in their mansions, okay, sipping tea, pina coladas, or whatever they drink because they only want power. You literally have people pretending like they're fighting for our behalf while you are living the same lavish lifestyle that you tell us to hate from others. So it just makes no sense. A lot of this is pushed propaganda, and I'm not going to do it. I've always said it's not the freaking hillbilly, okay, that I have to worry about. As long as he's not trying to hurt my person,
Mm-hmm.
physically harm me, I don't give a crap about you like not liking me. I don't care. I don't care. Like, so, and people need to learn that when it comes to Black people, the most important thing we could do is work for resources, having our own, building our own, so you have more power, including politically. Because, like I always tell my YouTube subscribers, you look at a lot of people now, they're on this, who has the black agenda? Who has the black agenda? Which political candidate? But the thing is, these candidates, these politicians, are slaves to who they are funded by. So if you look at who they're funded by, money, here we go again with the green. If you look at who they're funded by, that's going to show you whose agendas they are going to carry out. So it's really a class war, a corporate war. I don't know if that's what you want to call it, but they use us as pawns and useful idiots to carry out their mission. I'm not gonna do it. I can't. But so if there is a race war, I will not be participating. Hopefully by that time I have enough resources to fly to some exclusive island and just go.
I feel that. I feel that. And the funny thing is how it's funny how like the race war, because they put the races against each other, and then we kind of have infighting in our own race. Because how often do you hear black people say to other black person, "Oh, you're not black if you think like that." Like, and it's weird
All
how
the
it breaks
time.
down. Yeah.
All the time. I literally had a guy, he had the nerve to come to my YouTube channel the other day, and he said something about, why are you here carrying out the white man's agenda? How? By telling black people to self-educate their children, by telling black people to be informed, by telling black people to get your money, by telling black people to stop worrying about foolishness and things you can't control, by telling black people to be active in their community and be more informed politically and about the laws that impact them. By me getting up every day and still working an 8-hour job in my black community to help keep little black boys out of the prison system in the first place. Is that how I'm carrying out the white man's agenda? I mean, make it make sense to me. Like, so. Yeah.
Listen, the I think so much that our people, we don't realize how much keeping us undereducated, keeping us from knowing what's going on, keeping us distracted, has really helped keep us in bondage, mental bondage, if nothing else. Like I've said this before. We have been made over the course of generations to feel more comfortable talking about what shoes we have on, what you're wearing, how you're doing your hair, and not talk about politics in our own family, because that's what keeps us from growing. That's what keeps us from excelling. That's what keeps us from breaking the real bondage that we've still been in since we left slavery. And people don't think like that. And then when you say that and challenge their line of thinking, they immediately respond with attacking you. And it's like, no, like look at what you're doing. Like, look, if you can't tell me who your alderman is, who your mayor is, what their political platform are, what they have they done that's helped you, but yet you can tell me about when the new Jordans are coming out. I don't know if it's just my age at this point. I can't talk to you. I have nothing to talk to you about.
This is like this is the thing. I knew it was bad, but it wasn't until I really got a little deeper into the YouTube thing I really noticed it's bad. It is really bad out here. We are so misinformed.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that is a huge part of my platform because I am not only learning, but I'm also teaching others. And it's so amazing to see. And the weird part is my YouTube did not start off like that. It kind of grew into like very organically. And so the encouraging messages and the feedback that I'm getting makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing. So and this is my thing. It's not about me telling people what to do. It's not about me telling people what to think. It's not about me telling people who to vote for. I just want to encourage people to be more informed, care what's going on, care about following up, know what's going on before it gets viral and it's the hot thing to do, you know?
Yeah. I could tell your passion for it though, and it's like you said, you pointed out that it was organic. Because I don't know the first time if that's really what your YouTube channel was about, but I remember the first
Heck
video you
no.
posted that blew up, and I remember you sent it to me, and it was like you hit like 2,000 in like a day or something for the first time.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so, and yeah, I mean, how do you feel about um like that growth? And also like you said, because that's my platform too, the Awaken Soul, my podcast. I always say it's about me learning as much as it is about me educating. You know, like some people say they got into media to be in your media personality. I don't believe that. I got into what I'm doing, and I believe that I'm an educator now. Like that's what I believe I'm doing, but I'm also
That's
learning
so
from it.
weird. That's so weird. I mean, when it comes to me, you know what I mean? Because I
Mhm.
think like I'm just me, but you know, I have all this encouraging feedback and it's like, wow, you know? So, but what were you about to ask me? I'm
I
sorry.
don't even remember now, but I mean, what do you think was that aha moment? Like that you're like, you know what? This is what I want to do. Like, forget what I wanted to originally, because everything's organic, right? It starts
Right.
off with your idea, and then it becomes something else over the course of it, and you become even more passionate about it. Hopefully, for most people, what was that moment for you where it was just like, you know what, this is what I really need to be doing with my platform, rather than what I wanted to do initially.
I think it was mm, so I started off by making a walk away walk away video. I don't know if you know, but that was like kind of like a grassroots movement which included people walking away from the Democrat Party for various reasons. These
Hmm.
are like all different type of people. This is just a random organic type of thing. So I made this video talking about all my frustrations, right? From oh my God, I can't even remember. I made that video a while ago. But just feeling this frustration of, you know, Obama didn't do what we expected of him. When I did even more research into some of the crap Obama was really doing, it broke my heart. I'm not even gonna go into that. Um, and then the frustration of like everything that was going on in the news media with Black Lives Matter and feeling like, you know, some of the people weren't getting justice and what the heck are the Democrats doing for us, and all they want to do right now is they pushed our issues to the side and they're focusing on people that aren't even born into this country. Like, so all these frustrations just spilling over, right? So, not long after that video, I would just be watching the news and I would see certain segments and I'm like, let me look further into this. So, oh, by the way, that video ended up doing like, well, oh my goodness, 40,000 views. I can't even remember. It did quite a few. I got like a crazy
Hmm.
response. Good feedback and not so good feedback. But anyway, it's this one particular story where um Trump was on the cover of Time magazine, and it was this little girl on the cover, and she was crying and he was like looking down at her. I was like, man, what the hell is going on at the southern border? I was like, is this man this evil? Why would he do this stuff? And I'm like mad and frustrated and confused. Man, I go on to actually research the stuff
Hmm.
out of my curiosity. The cover was fake. Okay. The girl that they put on the cover was a little Honduran girl. Her dad came out, said she was never separated from her parents. Like this was from a whole different thing. Time magazine knew that the image on the magazine, they knew it was misleading, but they still chose to publish it. Then I go on to research more to find out all the pictures that social media was sharing from that time. All those pictures with kids on a concrete floor with the little aluminum blankets behind the little gates. All those pictures were from whose era? The Obama era, okay? Obama. Straight Obama pictures, all of them. You can search them to this day. They had them in articles. You can Google search them, everything. So at that moment, it was a light bulb that clicked to me. And the fact of the matter is, I'm just about the truth. No matter what side of the fence is on, the angle, whatever, truth means more to me than anything. So I feel like, oh my God, I know this. I got to share with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's what I did. And ever since then, it's just been uphill. It's just been uphill from there.
Because stuff like that is funny because people are so quick to program themselves in their mind and hop on. Oh, look what Trump did, and like you said, you expose the fact that those pictures were from the Obama era, and then it twists. It's funny how quick it twists. It's like, no, it's not. Or they'll fight you. It's like, look, you can go do the research yourself. Like we have to, as a people, and I this is another thing I say on my platform all the time. Stop running with the what's goddamn, I'm getting tongue tied. Trending and just taking it as fact. Do your research. We don't research. We don't
We don't,
research.
and they bank on it.
Yeah.
They literally, this is how these people make their money because they know they can sell us anything and we will believe it. Let me tell you, and I'm not trying to switch the subject, but I'm just throwing this in here as an example. So, Kamala Harris is running for president, okay? So, like, when they first announced it on the Shade Room on Instagram, I went into the comments just to see what people were saying. And people were like, this ain't it. We not feeling her, this and the other. And I'm like, okay. It was like a little proud moment because it made me like, okay, people doing their research. So I went on Facebook and I was basically saying it, right? What I just told you. Here you go. Some chicks about to jump down my throat. Anything be better than Trump, and we just don't like her. I mean, no, we just need to give her a chance to speak. You need to hear what she gotta say, and she is a black woman, and all these. And I'm like, if y'all want to waste y'all vote, first of all, you need to like do some research on the lady, whatever. So this one lady came back a few minutes later and she was like, well, I do like her policy. She's trying to do something about black women and black women that are pregnant mothers because black women die at a higher rate than everybody else. And I wrote her back and I was like, she just implemented that like a few months before she announced her presidency. And then not only that, after, so it's basically two girls arguing with me, going back and forth with me. And finally I was just like, screw it. At the end of the conversation, one of the girls was like, well, I don't really know much about her, but I'm gonna do my research though. Girl, what? So I literally just sat here and wasted all that time. I have been researching this lady for a year, okay? A year. You're gonna come here and argue with me, and you haven't even researched this lady. Like, It's so real out
Yeah.
here. You don't even understand.
I think
I just want to,
the biggest thing that we as a people need to realize, everything black ain't pro black.
oh, absolutely. 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 And you know what? That's a quotable. I might put that on a t-shirt. Can I have it?
Ser- you can have it. You can have it. But seriously, I think we're so quick. And don't get me wrong, because we've been underserved in the media and politics that once we see a black person, especially a black woman, um, e- everybody wants to attach themselves to anything that's can be represented as black, right? But then we don't do our research as a community, as a culture. It's just, oh, they're black, I'm voting for them. And people don't really
Absolutely.
realize that some of those black people, those black politicians, that black artist, that black whatever, is a bigger sellout than the white person next to him,
Right.
because they had to sell out to some. Not saying all of them. I want to make sure I'm not saying all black people who gain notoriety have had to sell out, but some of them have had to sell out worse than the white people to get to where they're going, and people don't pay attention to that.
Yeah. Um, I forgot what I was about to say. Sorry.
Sorry, I know I cut you off there. Um, so since we got into politics, I know I had mentioned to you and may talk about Trump's state of emergency some. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
We can. I mean, oh, you give me in some heavy stuff tonight, man.
Does it seem like you really want? I mean, we don't have to. I don't want to put you on the spot. I know we've been having a good, fun conversation, but
Mm,
here,
I'm
we'll leave it at this. We'll leave it at this. We won't dive too deep into it because I had like stats and statistics of where the money's coming from and going. I will say this: what's your opinion on Trump declaring the state of emergency? And we'll leave it at that.
honestly, I don't particularly like it for the simple fact of, the optics.
Mhm.
I really don't like it. I really don't like how the media is going to push it. I really don't like him bypassing Congress. I just don't like the optics of it. However, other presidents have done it. Um, but it can create a slippery slope moving forward. So it's a very complex issue. I see both pros and cons with that.
Okay, that's fair enough. I can understand that. It definitely is a slippery slope. I think even people who are pro Trump, not of course the fanatics, they even understand that can set a very dangerous precedent going forward.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and I think that that's something we all need to pay attention to. And I think that his cockiness over the fact that it's just gonna get pushed through no matter how far it goes, and he's even like, he compared it to the travel ban, saying that they got to push through on their third version of it. Um, it's problematic, but did we really expect anything different? Like,
But and this is the thing. This is the thing. What people also have to realize, whether you support this man or not, that is proof. Okay, that is 100% proof that he is working on behalf of not only the people, his fan base, but he is literally doing everything in his power to do what the heck he said he was gonna do. Imagine if other presidents felt that adamant about getting things done. Imagine if President Obama did a freaking national emergency and he was like, I'm not doing crap until we get this done for black people. Like, just imagine.
Mhm.
And I'm not even saying he had to do that, but I'm just making this comparison. Like, that's a person that's like, look, I told you I was gonna do this and now I'm doing it. And so it takes some balls to do that.
He definitely has balls. Like that's the thing that I don't think anyone. But you said it, he's serving his base. Not that I agree with it. Not that I agree with his base. Not that I agree with the wall. But like my thing is like I said, why are we so surprised by it? He's literally fought to do everything he said he was going to do.
I
And
mean, this is the stuff the man campaigned on. It's not like it's a secret, okay? He's not just throwing stuff in there. This is stuff he's campaigned on. I mean, so, and then he's throwing stuff in there for other people too that they're not even reporting. So,
yeah,
you know.
uh, 2 more years, we'll see where we are. But what else? What else is on your mind? Well, I know I brought stuff. Anything on your mind? It's been a minute since we talked. Anything that you want to talk about?
Oh God, I don't know. Nothing in particular. But I do think he's going to win 2020. And I think it's gonna be between him and Bernie.
Yeah.
Unless Joe Biden steps in the ring. It's gonna be him and Bernie going head to head 2020. But if he gets this wall done, it's a wrap.
Do you think
Like,
that the split in the Democratic Party is what's hurting them the most? Like, because it feels like the Democratic Party is like so divided between like four different people in that party that they're like all fighting for the same landscape. Usually it's like one or two. It feels like it's really pulling in so many different directions that as a party, again, I don't believe voting Democrat or Republican. I'm going to vote for whoever does the most for what I believe in. But do you think that that's hurting their base some?
I don't will say this about the Democrats right now. They are doing the most.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. They're throwing a lot at you. They're doing a lot. And I think they are inadvertently pushing a lot of people away, or they are pushing people to these alternative type of faces, right? So a lot of people are kind of moving towards Bernie, and I would say that because I think he's actually an independent, but he runs on the Democratic ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But oh, child, it's just a lot. I don't know, but I think a lot of them. I don't think it's gonna matter. I think they're still gonna continue to support whoever wins the primary.
It's going to be interesting time. That's all I can say. It's going to be very interesting leading up
Cannot
to it. It's going to be very
wait.
interesting there.
Like,
Like,
it's gonna be so messy. It's gonna be so messy and drama, and I can't wait for the jokes and the mudslings. Like, this is gonna be a show
yeah.
to remember.
Yeah, a show is yeah. Vince McMahon's booking it because this is gonna be like WrestleMania. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be crazy. Like they're gonna be sitting on opposite ends of the podium, straight, just going the hell off on each other. And it's gonna be very interesting to watch. Well, Miss Mary, I want to thank you for taking time out. I know you a busy popping YouTuber right now, so I appreciate you taking time out.
Please don't flatter me.
What's something you want to leave the listeners of the Awakened Soul with? Anything on your mind? Anything that they need to pay attention to? What's something that they need to look at? What's a resource? Because more people need to be educated like you. So, what you got for them?
I don't even know. Like, it's no particular place I would say to look, but I would say be open to looking. Something that I always tell my subscribers is stop watching these political pundits and these commentators. You can watch them, but you need to go read stuff with your own two eyes, because a lot of times when you read the actual articles, A lot of times, not all the times, but when you read the actual articles, they tend to be less biased and you tend to get more to the truth. These political pundits will have your head swimming. It's going to be filled with their interjection of their biases and their spins and their propagandas. So I'm just here to encourage people to do your own research. Don't allow people to put you in a box. Be open to different ideas. I'm certainly not a conspiracy theorist. I don't know why you've been using it.
Yeah.
Let's turn the whole show, but yeah, I think that's it. And of course, subscribe to me on YouTube. I can be found at Rhonda Mary, Rhonda, and Mary, Mary, like Mary, the singers. On YouTube and on Instagram.
There you go. Go and check her out. And did I call you conspiracy theorist? Did I say that?
You didn't say that like directly, no.
No, no,
But
I
you
know
kind
you.
of implied it a little bit.
For lack of a better word, you're not a conspiracy. Yeah, I would never want to do. No, conspiracy theory. I think Alex Jones when I think conspiracy theory. That you
Okay.
are definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah, truth seeker. Maybe that's a better word for it.
Yes.
There you
Yes, I
go.
like.
There you go. Well, everyone, you guys know where you can follow me at CEO Haize. That's been it, man. This has been a great conversation.